Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manas Sinha and it is so good to see all of you lovely people once again. In case you're new here, welcome. You've just tuned into that one show which will satisfy your hunger for both technology as well as automobiles at one place, which basically means why should you be watching two shows when you can watch one? This one. Now, like every time, we're bringing you the best of both worlds, so we have a lot of things to cover in this episode. Let's kick things off by first showing you a glimpse of what you can expect over the course of the next half an hour. This week, we'll be taking a closer look at the Asus ProArt laptop, a laptop that is meant for creative users. Then we'll take you for a ride on the TVS Raider and tell you everything you need to know about it. And also, we have a folding phone on the show, but this time it's from the house of Oppo. So yes, all of that action will be coming your way. And yes, this is indeed the new Ducati Super Sport that's giving us company today for this episode. Isn't this motorcycle gorgeous? Nevertheless, we're going to start off with something special. We're going to talk about SUVs because Volkswagen has big plans for the Indian market and it is SUVs that they are betting their money on. Now they've come out with the Volkswagen Tiguan facelift. My colleague Abhinav Jakar got his hands on the car and here's what he has to say about it.
Another new day brings another new SUV, and today we have the facelifted Volkswagen Tiguan with us. Now, we have had the Tiguan in India before, and at that time it came with a 2-liter TDI diesel engine. Then we had the All-Space, which was basically a 7-seat version of the Tiguan, and now we have the 5-seat version back again. But this time it comes with a 2-liter petrol engine. Volkswagen have made some other updates as well, so let's dive right in. On the outside, there's a new front fascia with sleeker LED headlamps, a reworked front and rear bumper, and also an updated front grille. Then there's the new 18-inch alloy wheels, Tiguan lettering at the back, and LED elements in the tail lamps. On the inside, Volkswagen have chosen to replace the traditional buttons for the aircon with a touchscreen panel, which is quite nice to use. Then there is the new steering wheel, which is the same one that you find on the Tiguan. Now, since we're here, there are a couple of things that I'd like to mention, foremost of which is this fantastic looking 10.1-inch instrument panel. There are a couple of views that you can toggle as well based on your preference. Then of course there is the 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which is quite intuitive to use and quick to respond. I'm also happy to report that none of the VW-ness has been lost from the interiors, basically meaning that it feels solid, it feels well built and feels very safe. Seemingly so, since this car does come with 6 airbags as standard. But what's the news in the back seat? And it's good news because look at the amount of leg space I have in here and pretty decent headroom too. Now, since this is only a 5-seater, there is a pretty decent amount of boot space as well. Another thing I must add is this huge panoramic sunroof along with the rear 3/4 glass really add to the sense of space back in here. But like the cliche goes, let's get to the heart of the matter. And here it is, the 2-liter 4-cylinder TSI turbocharged petrol engine, which makes 190 horsepower and 320 Nm of torque. It's mated to a 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox and even comes with VW's all-wheel drive system. In fact, there is a terrain selector on the inside and you can choose between 4 modes. Now, I must mention that the same engine was also there on the All-Space, but that car was a whole 60 kilograms heavier than this one. So, does it have an effect on the drive? In short, yes. On the go, the updated Tiguan feels a lot livelier than before. The power delivery is sprightly and smooth, and the RPM meter pulls cleanly all the way up to the 6000 RPM mark. There's even 3 different driving modes which slightly alter the performance. Ride quality is quite excellent with the Tiguan soaking up bad roads with relative ease. However, there is a loud thud while going over larger potholes at slightly higher speeds. The 7-speed DSG gearbox also deserves praise for seamless shifts, and there's even a manual mode along with paddle shifters to make things a little more fun. The Tiguan also feels a lot more agile in the corners compared to the Allspace and is undoubtedly the best handler in its segment. Overall, another driver's delight from VW. Now that you know all there is to know about the Tiguan, here is the most important bit. It costs rupees 31.99 lakh rupees ex-showroom. Now that is a bit pricey when you compare it to the Hyundai Tucson, the Jeep Compass and the Citroën C5 Aircross. But there are two very important things to remember. First, the Tiguan is only sold in one variant called the Elegance. And second, none of the cars I've just mentioned are quite as driver-centric as this one. So, if you're out in the market looking for an SUV that does not drive like a typical one, this is your best bet.
Now let's move on to the world of technology and let's talk about laptops. Now I really love those laptops that break away from the mold that is the expectation of what a laptop should look like. As is the case with the Asus ProArt that's doing things a little bit differently to help the creators out there. Let's find out more about it by heading on over to Debashish Sarkar and let's take a look at the Asus ProArt laptop review.
Now here at News18 Tech, we have got you laptop reviews focusing on gaming, business needs, productivity and day-to-day usage. But today, we have got something special. We have the new Asus ProArt StudioBook. Now Asus claims that this laptop will enable you to bring out the creator in you with great multitasking and graphics capabilities. So here is a closer look at the new StudioBook. Now talking about the creator laptop segment, this laptop from Asus is primarily meant for people who create content for a living. So if you're into video editing, 3D modeling, animation or professional photo editing, the new Asus ProArt StudioBook 16 makes sense for you. This new laptop from Asus is available with both Intel and AMD processors in the international market. But in India, you will get this laptop with AMD Ryzen processors only. We got to try out the top-end variant at a price of Rs 2.2 lakhs. Now talking about the biggest highlight of the new Asus ProArt StudioBook. It comes with a massive 16-inch 4K display which looks gorgeous and it's pretty accurate as well. The display quality of this laptop is exceptional. There is a massive 16-inch OLED panel with 4K resolution, 16:10 aspect ratio and brightness of 550 nits. Watching HDR videos is a delight on this laptop thanks to the good contrast ratios. All types of content look good on the screen. Now that's not it. Apart from the color accuracy, the display is quite crisp and the viewing angles are excellent, and even for outdoor visibility, you will not face any issues at all. While the display quality will easily please you, there are some aspects you may not like after spending this amount of money. The refresh rate is 60 Hz. This means it is clearly not meant for gaming. And not to forget, while the brightness levels are high, the screen is very reflective and may be annoying at times. Talking about the build quality, this laptop features a good quality plastic body. Of course, it is quite bulky due to the 16-inch screen and weighs around 2.4 kilograms. Also, there is a charger which weighs an additional 300 grams at least. So you're looking at carrying around 3 kilograms in your backpack. Asus claims military-grade durability, and this laptop should last your daily grind. The hinges don't squeak and the body is quite firm. The device comes in black color option only and looks professional without any flashy design elements. Now my job involves typing a lot. I need to write a lot of stories every day and I use the new Asus laptop for my day-to-day activities. Now this laptop comes with a full-size chiclet keypad. While the experience is decent, the key travel is not the best and I feel Asus could have better things over here. You will need to spend some time with this laptop to get used to the keypad and trackpad. The response is pretty good. Another key highlight of this laptop is the physical chalk dial, and the company calls it the Asus dial. The Asus dial is specifically meant for content creators. You can sync this dial with the custom ProArt Creator Hub platform. This dial works with Adobe Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, Premiere Pro and After Effects as of now. By rotating the dial, you can change the size of brush, saturation, tweak brightness contrast or change opacity while using Photoshop. You can adjust screen brightness and volume levels too. While using Lightroom Classic, you can change the color tone, brightness of the photos you're editing by adjusting the dial. You can also navigate the timeline and change tracks and do more while editing videos by using this dial. This dial can be programmed to perform tasks the way you want for supported hardware. For audio, there are front-firing speakers from Harman Kardon. The audio levels are very loud and gets the job done. There is an HD camera with IR function to support Windows Hello, along with a privacy shutter. This laptop offers top-notch hardware. The model we reviewed comes with an octa-core AMD Ryzen 9 5900HX CPU with clock speed of 3.3 GHz, which can be boosted to 4.6 GHz. There is an integrated Radeon GPU, and when you need extra power, the 8GB GeForce RTX 3070 GPU takes care of it. As for performance, there is more than enough hardware capabilities to cater to the needs of a professional content creator. Talking about the battery life, this laptop is claimed to offer up to 8.5 hours of battery time. We found this claim to be pretty much accurate, at least initially. You should be able to comfortably get above 7 hours of battery time. There is a 240 watt charger which needs to be plugged to a big 15 amperes wall socket. You can expect to get over 50% battery life with just 30 minutes of charging. Asus has included ample ports and includes 2 regular USB ports, 2 Type-C, 1 HDMI, audio combo jack, Ethernet port and a card reader as well.
Now to sum it up, this new Asus laptop is a complete package for pro creators. Display quality is good, the hardware capabilities is decent as well, there is a good battery life and there is value for money as well.
Now if you're someone like me who likes to have the greatest smartphone out there and do not want to compromise on anything that you're getting with the flagship smartphone experience, chances are that you're looking at the likes of the iPhone 13 and the Samsung Galaxy Fold and so on and so forth. But now Oppo wants to be a part of that cutting edge technology that is available for their buyers. They've come out with a new phone. It's a folding phone, but in a smaller form factor than the Galaxy Fold series. Let's take a look at what it's all about up next.
Folding smartphones are not as common as one may have hoped to see in 2021, but 2022 is around the corner and we may see some more launches next year. But recently, Oppo entered the folding smartphone market with their new Oppo Find N to rival Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 that also features a notebook-like folding design. Now, the Oppo Find N will not launch in India, Oppo has confirmed, leaving the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 the most valuable player in the smartphone market. In this video, we'll try to evaluate what the future of folding smartphone look like and most importantly, whether the Oppo Find N manages to nail the folding basics. We'll start with the design, an area where the Oppo Find N excels without a doubt. In its folded form, we get a 5.4-inch screen outside that makes it one of the most compact Android smartphones in the market. When unfolded, we get a 7.1-inch LTPO display that can offer up to a 120Hz refresh rate. The best part about the main display is that it maintains the square-shaped design. Therefore, we don't need to rotate the smartphone to achieve the edge-to-edge viewing experience. Similarly, the unique water drop hinge design is firm and very reliable. You can swivel the screen at various angles and we get an almost creaseless viewing experience. The screen also offers a great color accuracy that enhances the overall viewing experience. However, the phone lacks the IPS rating for water and dust resistance that Oppo needs to perfect if it wants to successfully rival Samsung foldable smartphones.
Coming to the performance, the Oppo Find N is powered by the Snapdragon 888 chipset that also powers the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. Since this is a China-specific model, the phone does not come preloaded with Google-made or Facebook-made apps. Now, the software on this phone, it runs on Android 11 based Color OS, but Oppo has confirmed that the phone will receive Android 12 based OS update down the line.
That being said, you can download Google and Facebook-made apps, but they still need to be optimized for this particular smartphone. The Snapdragon 888 still remains a powerful chipset in the market, therefore the phone can still manage productivity-focused and gaming apps. There are a total of 5 cameras on board that deliver an excellent performance in the daylight. Since the Oppo Find N can freely stand at various angles, the device can also serve as its own tripod.
All this finally brings us to the question, what is the future of folding smartphones? You see, Oppo Find N successfully tackled some of the main key points of folding smartphones. First of all, the 5.4-inch screen outside and the 7.1-inch screen inside are very easy to use. The display also has a favorable aspect ratio that makes it easy for apps and video content to play. Oppo uses a unique hinge design that does offer a creaseless viewing experience. The company does not talk about smartphone cameras in its presentation, but this phone is able to capture some good still photographs. But as we conclude, if we have to nitpick on something, one suggestion that we may have for Oppo is to probably use a non-glossy finish the next time, because this phone is simply a magnet for fingerprint smudges.
Welcome back. You're watching the Tech and Auto Show and I'm your host Manav Sinha. And yes, this is indeed the new Ducati Super Sport that's giving us company today for this episode. Now, in the first half of the show, I talked about laptops that break the mold and we spoke about the Asus ProArt. Now, similarly, TVS has also taken an approach in the 125cc category as they've come out with the TVS Raider and they're trying to break the mold that a budget motorcycle shouldn't really be boring. Have they succeeded in that? Well, let's head on over to Anirudh to find out more.
Now before this, for quite a while, TVS had a gap in its lineup in the 125cc motorcycle segment. But that recently changed with a rather interesting product, this one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the TVS Raider and today we'll be answering a few important questions. How good of a commuter is this? Does it have the firepower to take on dominant players like the Honda SP125? And the most important question, is it worth your money? So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now TVS's idea for the Raider was something that will primarily grab the youngsters' attention, and for that I think the motorcycle scores handsomely. You get a very aggressive design with a chunky and chiseled fuel tank, and at the front you get all LED headlamps that makes it look like as if Bumblebee became a motorcycle. This one gets split seats that look very sporty for the segment, and at the back the motorcycle gets LED tail lights with a neat grab rail and tail that gives it a very sporty appeal. The quality of materials used around the motorcycle is of premium quality and the fit seems like something that will stand the test of time. The buttons on the switchgear feels good to use and feels like something from a segment above. Sitting behind the bent handlebar is a colored LCD instrument cluster that shows a host of information including a speedometer, tachometer, distance to empty, 2 trip meters and a gear position indicator. Now while the display might seem a bit crowded at first, it doesn't take long to get used to it. Also, we found out that the gear position indicator on the motorcycle was actually flawed, time and again showing either the wrong gear or a 0 in its place. Defeats the purpose, but won't affect your riding in any way.
Now powering the Raider is a 124.8cc single-cylinder engine, and if you actually get into the specifics, the bore and stroke ratio and the 3-valve head is actually very similar to the NTORQ, but TVS claims that this is a brand new engine. So we're going to see what it contributes to the package in terms of performance.
In one word, happy. The TVS Raider in no way actually behaves like just another commuter motorcycle. The engine is eager and quick in traffic with easy overtakes and maneuvering. The power comes in as early as 4000 RPM and is spread out evenly throughout the rev range. The 5-speed transmission is also slick and only adds to the riding experience of the motorcycle. However, in addition to the peppy engine, what really works in the Raider's favor is its light curb weight of just 123 kgs. This makes navigation in tight spaces, parking spots, bumper-to-bumper traffic a very easy affair.
Now for a 125cc motorcycle, the TVS Raider has quite a throaty exhaust. Here, take a listen.
Apart from its cosmetic quotient, the split seat actually has good cushioning and proves to be comfortable both for the rider as well as the pillion, even during long rides.
Now if you're talking about ergonomics, once you get astride the motorcycle, you are welcomed by a low seat height and a low handlebar. Now this translates to a little bit of a committed posture, but that is not something that will hamper your riding, cause you pain even during long city commutes, or even compromise the agility of the motorcycle.
The Raider gets conventional forks at the front and monoshock at the rear that are set on a slightly plush side, making the motorcycle easier to absorb most bumps and mounts. And since we are on the topic of cycle parts, it also gets disc brakes at the front and drum brakes at the rear. Now while we felt that the front brakes could have done with more bite, the brakes at the back felt perfectly fine.
Now we started this review by asking 3 important questions. Is it a good commuter? Does it have what it takes to go against the rivals? And whether it's really worth your money? And I'm quite happy to report that the answer to all 3 of those questions is a big yes. The design, the engine performance and the ride quality makes up for a package that really has a lot of potential in the current climate. And TVS's intention to please the younger crowd might actually work. So if you are looking for a motorcycle in the 125cc segment, your list has a new product.
And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or you simply want to have a conversation with us? Well, reach out to us on Twitter, we are more than happy to talk. If it's about technology, reach out to us at News18 Tech. If it's about automobiles, tweet out to us at News18 Auto. And remember, by logging on to news18.com, you can read up more on both these industries as well as all about the new Ducati Supersport. With that, it's the end of the show. I'll see you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.